Things are starting to look real creepy in Florida. We're seeing eerie videos of black SUVs driving around neighborhoods with megaphones urging people to leave immediately. We're seeing traffic cam footage of the roads out of Tampa Bay just stacked while the way in almost empty.
As you can see, people have turned this into a lane and that into a lane. And that's an 18-wheeler on the shoulder, you guys. That is insane.
This is the view in Tampa, Florida right now as miles and miles of gridlock has traffic at a near standstill, and people are using every possible section of road to flee Hurricane Milton.
Millions of people are now under mandatory evacuations in Florida, and the process of getting that many people out before Milton strikes, not an easy task. This is Interstate 75 north of Tampa. It is the main route out of those evacuation zones. Every single lane has really been bumper to bumper for days now. It's unlikely that traffic will let up here in the next 24 hours ahead of the storm.
You can see this line of cars. Let me step out of the way. This is going for miles and no one is moving.
We were on this very road from Pinellas to Hillsborough with the bridge that connects it yesterday jammed for miles. Took us an hour and a half just to get back to Tampa.
All of the arterial roads, the interstates, the main highways out of Tampa Bay are jam-packed as people are fleeing. They're trying to escape the path of Hurricane Milton.
Mass evacuations jamming Florida's roads as millions of people flee to higher ground. Hurricane Milton taking aim at the state. The warnings to those who stay are dire.
I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Millions are fleeing the path of Hurricane Milton, the worst storm to hit the Gulf Coast of Florida in 100 years. The unprecedented exodus is being driven by dire warnings.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
But fleeing isn't easy.
5 gas stations, no gas.
28-year-old Ashley Harding and her husband are staying put in her home in Sarasota with their 3 children.
The highways were packed, they're running out of gas, there's nowhere to go.
But congested roads are not the only problem. As thousands of people take to the streets, gas stations are struggling to keep up with the unprecedented demand for fuel, and some of them are completely running out.
Here's a gas station on the corner here. We're near Largo in Pinellas County. You got a lot of plastic bags that are covering pumps. There's signs on the pumps that say, please see the cashier inside to use. Then you scroll over there and you find big pieces of plywood, meaning that they've shut down.
The folks here at the gas station say that they don't expect any more gas being delivered here ahead of the hurricane.
There have been some shortages of gasoline in the Tampa Bay area. Gas stations either closed or perhaps out of gas. Governor Ron DeSantis went on the air this morning and said that supplies are on the way to Florida, that the fuel supply is still open. Those gas stations that were out earlier will be back in gas later today.
During a mandatory evacuation, one of the most important things you're going to need to get your butt out of there is gasoline. But when the gas stations run out, there's no way for you to get very far at all. And if you can't find fuel when you need it, you could just be stranded on the side of the road. Or worse, in the path of destruction. But some people think there are better options than gasoline to escape a hurricane. And this Tesla owner wants you to know why electricity could be the answer.
Can we talk about how Teslas are better for evacuating this hurricane? So everybody thinks Teslas are the first ones to get stranded in an evacuation, but I'm seeing the quite opposite. People in their gas-powered vehicles are evacuating, and there's so many cars evacuating, and there's so much demand for gas. The gas stations along the evacuation routes are selling out. People are going to get gas. They're sold out. They are now stranded. With Teslas, you're leaving your house at a full charge. So that means up to 300 miles of range or more. And if you need to stop at a supercharger, yeah, there could be a wait. You could maybe wait for 20 minutes at a supercharger because the demand is really high. But guess what? The electricity is flowing to the superchargers. It's not some arbitrary thing that is stored in a tank underneath the station. There's basically unlimited power for all of the Teslas evacuating. And the storm isn't going to be here for a day or so they have time. Honestly, it's a win. I don't know why people think Teslas are the worst thing for evacuating when they're actually the best.
My response to that Tesla owner is, sure, that electricity might get you out, but what are you going to do to get back when all the power is shut off for days or even weeks after the storm has gone through? You're pretty much stuck where you are with no way to get home until any of that power is restored. Now, after a hurricane, some gas stations will have fuel, others won't, and some will just be a little bit low. And for the ones that do have a good amount amount of gas, Florida actually does some sort of unique rationing system to make sure people just don't take more than what they actually need.
That's not the longest gas station line I've ever seen. I guess because it's so hard to get here.
So $25 limit per person, that's probably a good thing so everybody can get a little and somebody with a big bunch of cans like me can't just take it all. I should have remembered from Florida when there are hurricanes, that's what they do. But man.
That's it.
That's all we can get.
No, I think what they're doing with rationing is a pretty great idea, and it keeps the people who are a bit more selfish from just taking way more gas than what they actually should. And you can actually leave some for others so they can take care of what they need to take care of. But what do you do if you can't get some of your cars out, or it's just not practical to move them? Some supercar and exotic car owners are taking some extreme measures to keep them safe. Parking garages in the Tampa area can be seen packed out with exotic cars and SUVs. Anything from Ferraris to McLarens and even Dodge Chargers fill up these garages. The people who own them hoping this will keep them safe from flooding and wind-driven damage. Evacuating a hurricane costs money, and unfortunately, not everyone has the money or the ability to get out when they need to.
Y'all be like, y'all need to evacuate, y'all need to evacuate. Do y'all got evacuation money? Because I can't afford my rent here. You think I can afford to go somewhere else? Like, it's not free to evacuate. Gas already high, and you talking about I need to get on the road, go somewhere, and I got to pay to go wherever I'm going. Like, what are y'all talking about? Evacuate. You're not taking it serious. Baby, my bank account, I guess not taking it serious because I can't afford that.
As of right now, the mayor of Tampa Bay is urging anyone who's still in the city to pack it up, get in your car, and just get as far away from this thing as you can. And if you can't get too far away because of gas or time or money or anything else, you need to just get as far as you can to stay out of the path. And as of right now, currently, the roads are not as bad as they have been in the previous 48 hours.
We need to take Milton seriously. The trajectory is still directly towards Tampa Bay, maybe a bit to the south, but you know how those predictions are. They are predictions. The interstate is just about at a standstill, so people are evacuating. The evacuation notice has been given for Hillsborough County, so please prepare quickly and get out of the city. What we have said before still holds true. You hide from the wind and run from the water, and you don't have to run far. You don't have to go to another state. You just have to get to higher ground. But this is going to be an event like none other. Helene was mostly a water event for us. This is going to be wind, water, storm surge, rain, you name it. It's going to bring everything towards our community. We're doing all that we can. As you all know, we work very well together here in Hillsborough County. We're doing everything that we can to keep you safe, but there is a level of responsibility. With this hurricane, we can avoid any loss of life if people listen and you evacuate, especially from that predicted storm surge.